And that is the accordion. Welcome to the show. Steve's got to disrobe the accordion.
Steve, what do those 100 buttons do on that thing?
Don't slam that
For
down.
those of you that don't know, that
dude.
was Steve's
Wait, is that in the case,
$25,000
though?
accordion.
Don't lean it up like
It's
that.
not
It's
in
gonna
a case.
just crash.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it in a-
All right.
Hey, welcome to Unsought Opinions with the boys.
Yeah.
The place where you come for things you didn't know you wanted to know about. That is an accordion that was gifted to me by an elderly woman at my church years and years ago. She said, "Do you know anyone that will that knows how to play this?" I said, "No, but I would love to learn." And she said, "Great, come over to my house." So I went to this old lady's house, and she fed me cookies. No, I'm just kidding. But she showed me this woman probably was like 75 pounds soaking wet, and she
Gross.
just shredded this.
Why was she soaking? Like, was it raining?
It was a pool party, I think, with scales.
Anyway, this woman shredded this accordion like I've never seen it. It was incredible. She couldn't even lift the thing up. It had to be sat on her lap, and she just shredded it. So the buttons on the sides
Is
has
she
like
still alive?
no, I don't think so. Maybe, but it was a while ago, and she was very old.
You took all her joy away.
I did. She's nothing left. The buttons on the side do like chords, and so you're supposed to do the buttons
It was like the bass line.
to chord it out, and then you do the melody on your hands.
That's hard.
Steve,
I used to be able to play Titanic on it, and that was my claim to
Can you
fame.
try it real quick?
No,
I
I
would say-
I don't
It's probably
remember
like
it
the
at
guy.
all.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would say it's so impressive that you have so many instruments, but the more impressive thing is how you can actually play at least a little bit each instrument. That's kind of incredible.
Dude, that's the thing about music, though, is like once you learn like the theory behind it, they're all
Really?
It's all pretty.
Okay.
pretty
Well, I'm trying to give you a
linked.
compliment.
I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you. I don't want to be like, yeah, dude, I'm pretty amazing, because I'm. It's like the same. My whole life thing is I'm a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Like I'm not good at anything.
That's not true.
That
But
is
I'm
true.
a little.
We'll keep you humble.
But I dabble in like way too many things.
Absolutely true.
Some
Yeah,
would
that's
call
true.
it undisciplined.
Sure.
I like to think
I can see that.
ADHD.
I'm well rounded.
Well, you know.
Well, you know. They my theory is like you know what a Renaissance man is? Have you heard that term?
I thought that was like a romantic guy.
No.
That's what I thought, too, actually.
Yeah. He's a Renaissance man.
No, it's like Thomas Jefferson.
I think that's a romantic.
Yeah, a romantic guy.
I don't think that he was. He might have been.
Well, never mind.
But you're thinking Benjamin Franklin on that one.
No.
All the French people.
No, I'm just thinking, I'm pretty sure Thomas Jefferson.
He had a slave.
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so Renaissance man is like someone that is into a lot of different fields of study and are like very.
He's a learned man.
a learned man. And so
Okay.
that's what I've like
A man
always
of culture.
tried to be a Renaissance man. Because if you're on a stranded island, like if you're stranded on a desert island, who do you want? Some guy that's
A
really good
Renaissance
at
man.
physics, or some guy that knows a little bit about a lot of things?
And is really versed in the Renaissance era.
In the Renaissance, yeah.
Yeah.
You tell me anything about the Renaissance,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that
Makes
is true
sense.
or false. So
Well, it's great to be here with y'all. It's a beautiful
it's good
night.
to see you, Luke.
We got a fire going outside.
It's mesmerizing.
Yeah.
yes.
Last week, I had this pile. I might have told one of y'all this, but I had this huge pile of brush that I was trying to burn for like the last year, and it was always too wet or too dry. And so I tried burning it one time, poured a bunch of kerosene on it, and it was still so wet underneath that it didn't hold. So then the other day, we were supposed to get a huge storm. I was like, this is perfect timing. It started to rain a little bit, so I went out there with extra kerosene this time, dumped it all around, and then I lit it, and that thing shot up so high, like way higher than the power lines.
Oh, God.
It was out of control. I was like, oh, shoot. So then Eden was with me, and I'm like, go up and tell Mom to come down here. Because I had no phone and no water.
You didn't have water.
So Dan sent his 2-year-old daughter out in the darkness to go find her mother.
It was daytime.
Oh.
But right when I lit it, the storm blew the other direction, so I never had any rain.
Oh, my goodness.
And you are the reason that I have a job.
Yep.
People like you.
anyways, now it's just a big crater of nothing.
What's the worst fire experience you've had?
Oh, probably with Luke.
Oh, the similar story.
Similar situation. We had another huge brush pile from my cemetery.
And
that
more
we-
gasoline.
That time we used gasoline because I didn't have any other fuel.
That
And
was
you know,
awesome.
normally you make your little trail.
Sure.
Right? So we did it when it was actually pouring rain. So it was pretty good for a while. And then it calmed down. So we're like, we need to put more on it. So Luke throws it on there this time. I was like, all right, Luke, make a long trail of gasoline so we're not anywhere near because it's explosive. And so he's like, okay. And makes it like, what do you think, 6 feet?
Oh yeah, 4 to 6 feet.
Like 4 to 6 feet. I'm like, so we're both standing there talking like, dude, you got to make it a lot longer than that. And then it hit a spark probably somewhere in there. It's like, boom, and just massive mushroom cloud.
Dude, it was big enough to
And
where
our wives come outside and like, are you guys okay? What was that? Like, nothing's going on over here.
mind you, they're probably 50 to 60. No,
No, they're
probably
like-
100, maybe 100 yards in the house.
At least.
Like in the house, and I think they said they felt it. It wasn't even.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
dude, it was
It was like it
huge.
shook the ground. That was awesome.
So be careful with gasoline, people.
Yeah, it is explosive, as Dan said.
There are hilarious videos of rednecks starting like big piles of lumber and brush with like gallons and gallons of gasoline, and they light it, and the actual logs and stuff go flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Dang. Have you ever
It's
watched
crazy.
the Tannerite videos?
I was just gonna say that, where people
Dude.
put in like a fridge and stuff.
Yeah, it's so fun
What
shooting
is Tannerite?
but
What is
Just-
Tannerite?
it's like this. It's like a powder that will explode with high-powered rifles if you shoot it.
Okay.
But it's not flammable somehow.
Yeah.
It like does like an implosion thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
but that's what we
physics.
took to your house and blew that tree in half.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know what it was.
People
I just
will,
don't
like,
think
put
a
it-
lot of people listening would maybe know what that
That's
is.
why we can't shoot guns at Ben's house anymore.
People will like put it in like a fridge, and they're like, "Oh, it's not flammable, so it's fine or whatever." They'll put it near like an appliance. Shoot the Tannerite. They don't consider that the pieces of the appliance will come flying back at them.
Oh yeah, you should look up the pickup truck videos where they load
Yeah.
the pickup truck with it. There's one where the door comes
Yeah.
flying past this guy. It's like he's probably like 60 yards away too.
Yeah, and he's like standing behind that wall.
Just
and
barely
he's like,
misses
boom.
him.
Oh my gosh, they're wild.
Yeah, but those are fun.
Yeah, so Tannerite
We used to
is
be able to buy them
explosive.
at Walmart. I doubt you still can.
It's possible.
Oh, we should go check.
It is kind of crazy that they ever let anybody buy that.
America.
Yeah, dude. USA. I love it.
America.
So I'm going to take Steve's normal stupid question and ask how everybody's week was. Daniel.
I just told you not to ask me.
Okay, we're not asking Dan. We're going to ask Luke.
Good. A lot of work stuff. We started fire school, so my body hurts all the time. Just a
They
lot.
light you on fire.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. They just light you on fire.
And yet that mustache
And
did
that
not
hair is
burn
still
off.
there. No, it's cool. So we're in fire school, so like we're just in fire gear all the time in 80-degree weather. It's super hot and super heavy gear, and it kind of sucks sometimes, but it's fun.
How about you, Steve-O?
I knew this question was coming.
How about you, Dan?
So I went to the zoo this
And
week.
how about you, Ben?
I found out a crazy fact about pumas.
I said,
It'll circle back.
Did you know that a puma, aka mountain lion, aka cougar,
AKA Panther.
yep, they can jump 18 foot vertically and then 40 to 50 feet horizontal.
no way.
It's insane.
Standing still?
Standing still.
No way.
That's what the sign said.
Dude, think about it. Your tiny little cat that's like a foot
How
can
high can they
jump
jump?
like
Yeah.
8 feet just straight up. 'cause
Yeah,
they
we had
freak
a
out.
No
we had
way.
a cabinet
They
in our
can't jump
barn
8
that was like
feet.
10 feet tall or 8 feet tall, and my cat would just jump to the top.
Are you serious?
Cats are crazy, dude.
I mean, if you think about it, even dogs. Like we've got this little rat dog, and that thing can jump 3 feet. That's kind of like think about how high you
I can jump 3 feet.
That's
Dude, are
well,
you kidding me?
okay,
I can't.
but that's 3 times her height. Can you jump 3 times your height
Like Mario.
on a trampoline? Maybe.
Yeah, on a trampoline,
Boing.
easy.
You can jump 3 times your height on a trampoline easily. You're hitting 18 feet on a
Yeah,
trampoline.
dude.
Yeah, dude. And your
You
foot is
forget how
going through
tall
that
you
thing.
are.
Your foot
3
is going
times
through that
my
thing.
size. Yeah, that's fine.
All
It's
right.
like 12 feet.
On a
but-
trampoline, if I can't jump 18 feet, that's still even more impressive for a puma.
Yeah. Full circle.
So what's up?
For the
Steve?
record, I am not 4 feet tall.
Let's hear what you have
I'm
to
a
say about your
respectable
weakness, Steve.
5'7". Yeah, Saturday we had my son's 5th birthday.
Nice.
Again with your kid's birthday.
Dude, it seems like it's every week. Like it's
How many kids do you have?
too many. Too many. You want one? Everyone can leave with a kid.
Already
Nah.
got one.
Arrows in your quiver, sir.
I'm renovating my bathroom as I have been for months. So today I had to drive to Fredericksburg, which is an hour away, and picked up a vanity from some good old boy.
Nice.
And so my truck, I never drive my truck because it gets terrible gas mileage. And I had, like, it was way, way below E, so I was terrified to take it to the gas station because it was
Gonna be $1 million.
Well, no, it would, like, I don't even know that I'm going to make it to the gas station. So I went to the gas station with a little 5-gallon bucket thing, or 5-gallon gas tank, and got like 2 gallons and poured it in the truck. And I took the truck to the gas station and put $25 more into the truck. Okay.
Moved it this much.
Dude, I got home and the gas light kicked back on.
Yeah.
The thing literally, it gets 10 miles to the gallon.
Yep.
It's the
Dang, you
worst.
should start driving a camper then.
I have a regular car that gets good gas mileage.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, you could just give me that truck and I would
Yeah,
take it.
I would take it. I would take your bad gas mileage off your hands.
Same.
Yeah. Well,
It
if
would
you
save you so much money.
It would actually, the amount that we drive it, it's not worth it. But the amount that I paid for it is cheaper than any other small truck that I would get.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know.
It's so handy to have a truck like that.
It is, but I'm seriously paying insurance and registration and
Yeah.
taxes and everything on it. It's
You
just,
put some farm tags on them.
yeah, I don't live on a farm.
Yeah, but you don't drive it anywhere.
You have chickens.
I do have chickens.
You could
I
put
do
farm
have a
tags.
farm. You're right.
Isn't it within 100 miles that it limits you?
I thought that it was like pretty rigid on how they
is
get
you are
assigned.
legally only allowed to drive to and from farm work. So if you
So
are
I could-
driving to
the dump.
The-
Then I would be good.
yeah, if you can justify it as farm work. Now, how many times is a cop going to pull you over for a farm tag? Probably never, really.
What about, so there's like
But if they see you like
This-
parked at a restaurant, then you're kind of screwed. 'cause you're
this
not going to
hoopty
and from.
car. It's like a 94 Civic that had farm use tags on it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're using it as just like a utility vehicle to and
Okay.
from the supply store, you know?
So you think a cop would care even if like the restaurant was directly on your way?
I don't think a cop would care. I think a state trooper would care.
Hey, Luke,
Big difference.
give me 3 words that would sum up a state trooper in your mind.
Rigid,
So that's a good thing.
unfeeling.
Probably good. Yep. Because I don't want him touching me.
I can't think of a third.
Especially rigid.
Respectable.
That
Had to
sounds-
throw one in there.
That sounds like the ideal officer.
What was the last one?
Respectable.
Respectable.
All right,
Sounds
so
like Superman.
all right, we're the NFL draft is tomorrow, so we're
Oh,
drafting.
gosh.
Again with the stinking.
No, but like, listen, we-
Why does smoke follow beauty?
you have state troopers, officers, and police or sheriffs, deputies. Who's getting drafted first?
What's the call for service? Like, what are we?
just to hang out with?
Oh, like just not to like do any work with?
We're having a
No.
New Year's Eve party with them.
Oh, dude, sheriff's deputies.
Is number 1?
100%.
Who's
Good old
who's
boys.
second round?
Cops.
Okay.
Troopers are rigid, brother.
What about who's more rigid? Like marshals or FBI or state
Marshals are
trooper?
not rigid. Marshals are legit. Those guys are legit.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you know my marshal friend?
it's possible.
He came to the church, like
Oh
as
yeah,
you
yeah,
were
yeah,
leaving.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I don't know.
No, you're thinking of someone else. I think.
FBI. I don't know. I feel like those guys are a bunch of fake boys anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I don't really trust the
Yeah,
FBI.
but you're just a firefighter. You don't know.
It's true. I'm not a firefighter yet.
Did you do any crossover work with the FBI at all?
Not
you were-
FBI. We did DEA.
Okay.
Not, and I didn't really. I mean, very, very.
You were there while
minimal.
other people were there.
Yeah, it was like we had narcotics officers, and they would need a uniformed officer on location for a lot of stuff they did, and we would be like the uniformed officer.
Ben, I don't want to be weird, but you just walked over here and the best smell wafted with you. I appreciate that.
It's the stinking
It's the
Celsius,
Celsius, brother.
Dude, sniff that can.
Dude, those things legit.
Nope, it's not that.
It
No.
is.
Although it does
Is it-
smell
does
good.
it smell like cedar?
this.
Yeah. I think it's your laundry.
Dude, juniper
Whoa,
something deodorant.
You're a juniper guy, huh?
It's literally my wife's. It's the
You
best.
put on girls.
Dude, yeah, when it smells like that, I love it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll use that.
My wife will wear like original Old Spice.
Original,
Yeah, like the
a
classic.
little spicy. It's almost like kind of spicy.
Speaking of wearing
But it's like
women's deodorant,
Yep.
I accidentally used my daughter's toothbrush the other night. It was disgusting. I finished up, thankfully, before I realized, and I was like, oh, man.
Why, thankfully? So you didn't have to brush again?
I didn't want to realize while it was in my mouth.
So wait, do you normally brush with a 2-year-old's brush?
No, it's a travel toothbrush. So at least it was like
Okay,
fairly
okay.
new, maybe used like 5 times,
That's hilarious.
but pretty nasty.
That's the problem.
Dude, you weren't
of
gone that
having-
long. You're brushing too much. 5 times?
For her.
How long were you gone?
I was gone 5 days.
Yeah, dude, that's way too
dude,
much.
you brush teeth once a day?
I brushed my teeth.
That's a waste of
Yeah,
toothpaste.
come on.
2 to 3 times.
Richie
That is
Rich
wa-
over here.
How do you afford that?
Because I don't have to go to the dentist.
We
Yeah, I've never been dentist. I can breathe out my tooth.
stings a little. Question for you guys. I was thinking about this today when I was not able to listen to anything, like any podcast or anything, because I forgot my AirPods and I was working next to a highway, so I couldn't hear anything off my phone. I was
Wait,
forced. I was forced.
What kind
to
of
think,
work were you doing next to a highway? You got some
Painting some
community
dude's house.
service,
painting some guy's house?
picking up trash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What age do you feel like you could then look back at your younger self and say how stupid you were?
Like
Wait, what do you mean?
our age thinking back, or like how old we were back then when we
Like-
thought we were stupid back then.
Like I was 28 when I then realized how stupid I was when I was an 18-year-old.
probably around that age.
Dude, I'm probably
That's
starting
very
right now.
layered.
I'm starting right now, then I guess. Was I stupid?
Dude, so I've my whole life have looked back and just like cringed at how like socially awkward I was in a situation.
Yeah, dude. Like
Dude,
right
I-
now.
Back to that
Same.
dinosaur suit story for your birthday.
No, I still
I have cringed for it. No, I'm just kidding.
I still claim that. I made $40 in
No, dude.
20 minutes.
I think actually we should revisit that business plan.
Yeah, it
but
was great.
We can talk about that later off mics.
But yeah, like
Patent
there was
pending.
I pretty much my whole high school days I wish I could just take back.
But what age were you when you realized how stupid you were in high school?
High school.
Were you in
I
high
was
school
still
at
in
the
high
time?
school.
Oh man, that's the worst
No,
when
but
you.
it was like the day after, I'd think.
Oh, yeah, dude. There are a lot of moments like that throughout your life that you're
dude.
just like, no. Why'd I tell that last story or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
When you're like in a public setting and you say something and like as you're saying it, no one's gonna appreciate it or laugh or something.
Right.
But you have to finish because you've got the,
Dude,
up,
isn't
the
that
attention.
That's the wor-
And then it's just like you finish, you're like, yeah, it wasn't funny. I'm sorry. Move on. It's
Yeah.
like you're just thinking about it for the next 15 minutes.
Or the other side of it is that you tell a story and you know it's going too far, but there's no reining it back.
Yeah.
Dan, what's that like, man?
I do think I used to remember when I used to tell stories and I get bored and start trailing off and
You used to. You still do that.
get bored with my own story. Like, yeah, anyways.
Dude, Dan and I would have full conversations where we're both just in our phones and no one's listening to the other talk. We're just having this like autopilot conversation. We both look up and like, what is being said right now?
Going full Biden. My bad. Speaking of one of those terrible things to say in public. Okay, well that didn't really.
So I have a
spark
I
too
have
much
a,
conversation.
I have a conversation topic that I was thinking about. Okay, don't be interested in all. That's cool.
No, I mean I think we are.
Okay.
We're just watching the fire, dude.
Okay.
Chill out.
So I don't know if you guys saw this, and we don't.
Yep.
We can skip past this.
I did.
We can move on.
I was there.
Okay. There was a men's conference, a Christian conference. Did you guys hear about this at all?
I think
I feel like those happen
Mark
every
Driscoll?
weekend.
Yeah, I was
Mark-
gonna say there's probably like 20 of them.
So you know who Mark Driscoll is, right?
I know
Yes.
the name.
Yeah,
Jeff Driscoll, the football player.
No, Mark. Okay, he's back to football. Mark Driscoll is a pastor. He's had a somewhat controversial past, but seems like the
what
last.
church
Like,
Oh,
what
dude.
church should he run?
I did hear about this.
so he runs a church now. He's pretty legit now. For the last like 10, 15 years, he's pretty legit. I don't listen to him. I don't know much about him, but so there's this men's conference, massive men's conference. Okay, like a football stadium or something filled.
Is he the one hosting it?
No.
Okay.
So he was a guest speaker.
He was watching.
This church, I think it's called James River Church or something, was putting on this big men's conference, and they opened the conference like last year. They opened the conference with like a monster truck rally or something. Kind of something
Oh,
like
yeah.
something kind of like silly though for a church
We
to
should
do.
go to one of those, by
So
the way.
hang on a second.
Okay.
So what?
I almost
yeah,
went to
I
one
agree.
this past weekend
Uh,
in Charlottesville.
You went to a monster truck
No,
rally?
I almost did. We were supposed to take. Zeke loves monster trucks, so for his birthday,
That
we were
is-
going to take.
Steven, that is the craziest hijacking of a topic I think I've ever heard in my life. Because you didn't even go. Like had you gone, it would have made more sense.
If you
for
had
to
a story
even
from
tell
it.
that story.
The point was just to hijack Luke's story.
All right,
Yeah,
we
I'm
can
sure
move on.
it
Let's
was.
move on. No one's interested. So they
So I
opened,
saw Gravedigger.
Oh my gosh.
Gravedigger's
Keep
tight
going.
though.
So they opened the conference by having this guy on a stage with a pole,
Uh-oh.
and the guy takes his
Baseball
shirt
player?
off. No, the guy takes his shirt off, and does a little thing on like the pole, almost kind of like pole dancey.
Didn't know Channing Tatum
And
was
then,
Christian.
and then he's like a sword swallower or whatever. So he like swallowed a sword. Okay, so the background is that this guy was a former male stripper. Weird to have him at a church with this pole. Anyway, Mark Driscoll.
Swallowing swords.
Yeah, a little weird. Mark Driscoll.
I don't understand that last part.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you do.
You way do, Steve.
You definitely understand.
Out of everybody here, you understand it the most.
I know for a fact you understand.
How dare you deny yourself?
So Mark Driscoll gets on the stage, and he's doing his sermon thing, or whatever. And I think kind of in the beginning, he says like something about. Are you guys familiar with like the Jezebel spirit kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Okay. So he's like, already in this conference, there's been like a Jezebel spirit. We had a male on an elevated platform with a stripping pole, take his shirt off, and then like basically calling out like, this is bad that we begun this male conference this way. And you can hear in the background the leader of the church who put it on, like yelling on the stage. He's like, "You're out of line, Mark. You're out of line. Like you're done. Like stop." And so Mark Driscoll, he's like, "Okay, I'll receive that." He like puts on his hat and he's I'm done. He walks off the stage. So it's like a big dramatic thing. And then the pastor runs up on the stage and he's like, "Mark should have never done that. He's like, he should have come to me in private. Matthew 18 says if you've got an issue with your brother, address it in private." So I figured it'd be kind of interesting if we talked about that as like, what should he address that personally? He was like, I talked with Mark 30 minutes before he went on stage and he didn't mention a word of that or whatever.
That's a little weird.
So I don't know. I respected him for calling it out like that. I don't think he prefaces what he says before he says it. He's like, I'm not rebuking the pastor. I believe he said something like that. He's just like, this is bad. Like we shouldn't be having this in church.
Question.
So, the Matthew 18 is more about like rebuking your brother, right? So he's not like doing it that way. But anyway, it's pretty kind of dramatic.
Question.
Go ahead.
Is Mark Driscoll the guy who was like all about masculinity?
Yeah, he kind of still is.
Okay, so he's the guy who lost that church at one point.
I believe so. I don't know enough about his past. All I know is I think in the past he was like accused of like plagiarizing sermons or something.
And when he like
I think he's
drop
repented
bombs,
of that or something. Yeah, dude. I think he was
he
kind of
would, like,
wild.
drop bombs in sermons, which I'm not a fan.
Oh,
of.
like cussing?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
don't
If that's
know.
the guy I'm thinking of,
He could be.
I was like
I
a
said,
hard hitting pastor.
truth bombs.
Yeah.
I think he used to be pretty wild. He seems pretty chill now. Again, I don't know enough about him, but he's definitely the kind of guy that would like call that out. Just from what I've seen.
I don't know. I feel like if you're starting off your conference with that,
it's weird.
was it the start of the conference?
Yeah, it was the opener.
And it
Like, what are
wasn't
we doing?
planned. I
And-
feel like you gotta like you can't just ignore it if it's something that's on everybody's mind.
Well, and nobody
Right,
Googles
right.
like a background on this guy. Like, oh yeah, he's a former male stripper. I think they even said he was like a homosexual or something. And it's like, what?
Oh, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
a testimony.
But I feel
wasn't
like-
a-
no,
oh,
he
I
like
feel like that's
strips his
fine
shirt off.
if
Now,
it's-
do you understand?
he's
It's kind of
going-
weird. Like you're at a men's conference for like it's marketed for like married dudes or whatever to like strengthen their walk with Christ. And the first thing they have is like sort of like a stripping pole, like kind of weird.
First test, huh?
Yeah.
So
Who's looking?
Yeah. Who liked that? Show of hands.
Get out.
guys, wasn't that
Okay.
gross? Wasn't
So
that
the
Yeah,
one
right.
thing that I'll say, and I don't know, but if legitimately Driscoll had a conversation with the guy 30 minutes before he went on stage and he was made aware of what was happening and he didn't say anything at that time, that's kind of messed up to then go out on stage and blast.
Well,
But absolutely, that should be blasted.
I don't know though, because maybe he thought like, okay, if he says it to him, then he's not going to be able to say it to the crowd. Because I think there was some benefit in saying it to the masses of this should not be done. You know, I feel like
You
maybe
think he knew it was going to happen, and then he waited for it to happen
No.
so that he could.
I don't think he knew.
Talk
yet.
about it
He's
so he
just
could
like,
That's
Convert
what
their
that's what it
eyes.
sounds like. If the pastor's saying that they just talked about it 20 minutes before he went on stage.
no, he didn't say they talked about it. He said that they like
Oh.
talked before he went on stage. Like, hey man, like thanks for coming, whatever, this sort of thing. It's not like they talked about it.
Oh, okay. So it had already happened.
Yeah.
And he didn't say anything to the pastor, and then went.
So
out.
like
Oh, okay. I see.
timeline is
I got you.
stripping dude, sword
Oh.
swallow.
So I was thinking that he talked to the pastor, then they watched the stripper, and then he went out. You know, like he had a chance to then tell to preemptively tell the pastor that this is wrong before it even happened, and he
No, I
didn't
think
do
it
that.
was
So he didn't-
stripping, conversation, preach.
I got you.
Yeah, so like
gotcha.
the pastor's issue was that he should have been like, hey, in
What was
that
his goal in
conversation-
the whole stripping thing? Just to like bring up his past?
No, dude. I think it was just a hype type thing. I think it was just like getting people's attention, kind of like the monster truck thing. Like, I don't know why they think like 50-year-old dudes would be interested in seeing a male stripper, but
Speak for yourself.
weird. Really weird, and I don't know, just kind of like dramatic. Like you don't see that kind of stuff at a conference. And then there's like people, the people in the crowd start chanting like, "Bring Mark back! Bring Mark back!" They're like angry at the pastor for basically kicking him off.
Well, I'm sure he's got a huge following already that people showed up for.
Yeah, yeah, and like, it's just like the dude just kind of like crazy. Like the pastor's like, "All right, you're done. You're out of line, Mark." Like you can hear him just like off mic screaming.
I think, I absolutely think that was it Matthew 18?
Yeah, I believe so.
That doesn't apply to rebuking a church
I
or a
agree.
conference. I do think that is individualized.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
That's kind of what
I was talking to a guy about this on Sunday. That's why I had to already think my thoughts through it and everything. But I do think it's kind of weak that he kind of talked to the head of everything and didn't give him a heads up like, hey, I'm going to call this out because I think that's wrong.
But yeah, and that's kind of my thoughts too. But at the same time, like if you're in those shoes, and let's say that would be kind of a scary thing to say to someone, like, hey, you should not have done that. Like that, a little like kind of like intimidating. So maybe he just thought, okay, I'll go on the stage, I'll do my thing. But it sounded like he was like, look, I feel like I have to address this sort of thing. You know, like almost like heavy on his heart at that point. So maybe he was like, okay, that was weird. I'm going to go up there and preach and just hope that gets forgotten. And then like halfway through his sermon, he's like, look, we got to talk about this sort of thing.
Is that how
He did it
was?
halfway through the sermon.
It does. I
think
don't
there's
know.
so much context
I didn't
to
watch
it,
the sermon,
yeah.
but at one point he like gets on his knees or whatever, and he like addresses it. He's like, look, I feel like I have to say something about this. So it kind of seems like it was that kind of mindset of like, he like pauses and he's like, okay, I have to address this. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe the Spirit just convicted him.
That's
in
what
that
it kind of
moment.
seemed like. So it was. It's just like I don't understand why those conferences feel like they have to open it with something like so wild and like weird. Like, no, who wants to see that? Like, who cares?
Well, is that a common thing?
Swallowing swords? I'd say no.
No, just opening up conferences with weird stuff.
There's
well,
always.
if
I feel like
if he's like a acrobat or something,
I feel like
could
there's not-
see where there's like he's like doing crazy acrobatics on this pole or something. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but
not. But there is, like you said, to the whole thing, there's subtext. I didn't watch it. When I was told it originally, it was they hired a male stripper to open this conference. And if that's not, if there's more to the story to it, then that could make more sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it was like a, I don't know, if the guy turned his life around, but he still has this skill set, what's he going to use it for?
Right. Stripping at a church. I
don't know.
don't know. I feel like the broader problem in a lot of ways is why churches feel like they have to captivate people with that stuff and not.
Dude, that's what's crazy.
Well, I think you also want to go there for fun instead of all just lectures the whole time.
Not
but-
to.
Yeah.
Not
I mean, it's like if you go on a men's conference like out in the woods or something, there's going to be sports and
I know. It
laser
just,
tag and fun stuff, and it's just like the recreation part.
I
of
just
it.
don't think that's life changing.
It is when you're making for that kind of stuff. I feel like you're making relationships with your.
Have you never heard of Bohemian Grove?
Yeah, dude. That's what we can talk
I
about.
mean, come on now.
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
You don't want to know.
Just look up Alex Jones.
I'm teaching through 1 Corinthians
Mhm.
right now, and we just hit the part where Paul is saying like, I could have come to you like with highfalutin words and everything, but I chose to make it plain and simple and stuff. And it's better to not dress up the gospel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that we live in a world where
gotta
everyone
dress it
just
up.
we have to dress it up
Yeah.
for those entertainment value and or entertainment dollars and things like that.
Yeah, and like on the stage behind them, it's like there's like 50-foot screens or whatever. It's just like a big motorcycle. It's like that's kind of like I don't know. That just seems kind of cheap.
That
It's
changes everything.
Like, yeah,
It's completely
way cooler.
okay.
What church was that?
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems kind of like okay, we're just trying to capture people the way the world's trying to capture people, not capture to do anything bad.
Yeah, but as I was saying, I feel like you do need to build community. Like
Yeah,
guys need to get out and like hang out with each other every once in a while.
I agree.
Women's conference, they need to do the same thing. Steve, are you peeing over there?
Did you speak?
He tried to, but the spotlight just crushed him.
That is the best thing.
Steve
Is there
just
another
walked.
spotlight?
Steve just walked to the darkest part of the yard to pee in the yard, and this giant spotlight just like lit everything up, and he's just
Like
he
a
was
deer in the
standing out
headlights.
in the middle of it.
And then walk to the other spot.
He had to do the walk of
And then
shame
another
while
one
zipping
came
the
on.
zipper back up.
And now he's on a list somewhere.
The old walk of shame. Oh, dude, I had to do the walk of shame real bad one time outside of Pittsburgh, and sitting in traffic. Like my brother and I, we just had to pee so bad, and we were not moving anywhere. It was gonna be hours, so we just had to pull over to the side of the road and then walk into the woods. And everybody's like that we've been sitting within traffic with
knows.
is like watching us go deep into the woods. And we come back and we just like wave to everybody, hop back in the car, and just everybody knows what just
It
happened.
is what it is.
Yeah. We got to
That's
pee.
great.
You got to pee, and it's one of the worst feelings.
Oh, dude, I have held my pee for. It is the worst.
Yeah.
It really is the worst. I've held it for so long, especially like when I was in law enforcement and like you'd be on a scene somewhere or whatever and you couldn't leave.
Right.
Dude, I've had to hold. I feel like my bladder was so close to bursting sometimes.
Have you ever just thought about like padding up, and just having?
Don't they do that in the NFL?
I think they do that.
Pee on themselves? Is that what you're saying?
And in NASCAR,
You talking about peeing on
Oh,
yourself?
yeah. Mhm.
they go hard.
Yeah,
in
NASCAR
They
too.
pee on themselves, dude.
I think so. I think they have like apparatus in their suits
Apparatus.
for that purpose. Dude, one time.
Well, when you're competing for milliseconds,
yeah, you
Makes
can't.
sense.
There's no pee breaks. Like,
Well-
that'd be insane.
But does having to pee make you perform better? Oh, did you just bring the Pringles out, Steve?
It probably does make you want to get to the finish line a little quicker.
Yeah.
But
Go.
when
I always wonder about if I get in a car accident and I have to pee so bad already,
Oh, you pee yourself for sure.
or like something happens.
Yeah, you're
Do you just
peeing yourself.
release and go like a wild animal?
For sure.
dude, absolutely,
It's a bad situation.
I've peed all
You need
over
the
this
relief
world.
in that moment.
You all know that
Have we talked about your and my pee story?
when we were walking through DC.
Yeah.
No, but I did just watch Forrest Gump the other night, and I was like, "Hey, that's my spot." But anyway, when my dad was a kid, their dad was like super stingy about taking bathroom breaks or whatever, and they were poor, very poor, and they had a car that had a massive like rust hole through the floor, and so they would going down the highway. My grandfather would not stop at, rest areas or whatever, and they would just pee through the hole in the floor, and it would be right on the exhaust, and it would smell so bad. It was like a disaster, all because he wouldn't stop on the side of the road.
Why didn't you want to stop? Just
You
save
gotta
time?
make, you gotta make time, dude.
Dude, that's like one of those old dad things. Like just
Oh yeah,
there's no stopping here.
right.
Like,
Anytime we go on a road trip, I make my kids wear diapers.
wow.
We kind of talked about that earlier, about how Luke should have worn a pad when he was doing law enforcement stuff.
I should
Little
have.
absorption.
You just have to pee, dude, sometimes.
If you're like me, you got to pee like all the times.
Also, I can confirm that the firefighting super suits, no bathrooms in the suits.
Huh.
You cannot pee on yourself. You will pee on yourself.
That's why you need a spacesuit.
Well, I think that peeing on yourself would kind of be beneficial in that environment, right?
Depends what you were
It
drinking.
would cool you down, probably.
Yeah. Well, typically your urine is. What did you say?
He's talking about flame retarded or whatever.
Flame retardant. Flame retardant.
How long you been waiting to
Wait,
use
what?
that?
What did I say?
That you said that.
That's what I thought I said.
You did.
Yeah. Anyway,
I've had an eyelash stuck in my eye for like 10 minutes, and it's driving me insane.
I thought you were just really tired.
is that what that noise was?
Yeah, well, that was
Somehow
my,
related
that was my
to your
ring
eye?
scratching it.
Oh,
Scratching my cornea.
Your ring was scratching your cornea.
that's gnarly. Yeah. Anyway,
So I was singing today. What are because
that doesn't work. I tried that earlier. I tried a thought that I had today, and it only got half of one response.
well, this one will be better. What is your guys' biggest pet peeve? Do you think?
Probably coming up with great topics and them not being used.
When people step on your stories or interrupt it with monster truck stories.
Dude, I feel like I'm at the center of a lot of these pet peeves.
No, you're the
Scratching
only one who
glass
partially.
plates with a fork.
Ooh, yeah. that's a
Biggest
good one.
pet peeves. Have you ever seen the show Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Heard of it.
Anybody?
Heard of it.
I haven't
No.
watched
Is
it.
that your
Pretty
pet
much-
peeve that no one wants?
Yeah, there you go. No, everything that Larry David is annoyed by, same stuff for me. I'm annoyed by all that stuff. So
You're
watch
just an
the
old
show.
man at 35 or
I'm a
36.
77-year-old stuck in the wrong generation.
I really don't
Biggest
like
pet
when
peeve.
people, shorten my name to Steve.
Really?
I can't handle it.
Dude,
And two,
Since
when
when?
it's-
I've been doing that for
Dude,
years.
you all call me Steve, and
Would
I
you rather
hate
be called
Dude,
Steve or
how
Steph?
easy is your life?
And that's the other thing. It's like when people text Steve, they spell it Steph because the way I spell my name,
Oh, I don't.
and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, dude. I think Jason's the only one that does that. Steph.
How many people here in this circle have Steven's entire last name spelled out in their phone book?
Dude.
Me.
You just say
I don't know if it's
phone
right
book?
though.
Well, like,
Your iPhone.
Your contacts list, yeah.
I think it's written out as Steven. It definitely is.
No, his whole last name.
Oh, Boosh Bob?
Is that what it is? Is that what the last name is?
Probably.
We're not giving last names.
I
on this,
just
right?
put B.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know. Are we last week?
No last names. Oh, really?
I don't get it. I didn't listen to last week's.
It's okay.
I gave up 15 minutes in.
Not for himself, mind you.
Did you dox him?
Yeah, but I don't care. Nobody's listening to this.
Except for T-Rod.
T-roids.
Shout out T-Roids.
I did get texted.
Get some cream for those roids, you know what I'm saying?
A big friend of the pod, I didn't realize listened to the show, and he listens to the show way up in New York.
Well, I wouldn't say big friend of the pod.
I would say he's our biggest listener.
Yeah.
Not physically.
If you are our biggest
There's
listener, text us.
There's probably very large people.
Steven's number is.
Yeah, this will be the test because, like, I think he's in podcasting or
Send your mail to this address at.
he's in that world, and so like if he gives us a second listen,
It's a big
that's how
deal.
we'll know we got him.
That's a big deal.
He's an unsauty. So
Huge film critic too.
Big film.
which I imagine he's a huge podcast critic.
He's also a sponsor of the show. Do we have other sponsors today?
We do.
Okay. I'm just checking.
You want to? Should we pay the bills right now?
I guess we could.
I guess we should start.
All right. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Fire. Dan.
Have they sponsored us before?
Yeah, and that was pretty weak, Steve.
Was it? Have they sponsored us?
Fire?
I'm sorry.
Are you
It's a
talking about
lifelong
fire or
sponsor, bro.
fire logs? Or just fire?
Coals.
You're right. Today's episode, I had my pages mixed up from last week. Sorry. Today's
Right.
episode is brought to us by Inner Tubes on bike tires. Dan.
Inner tubes on bike tires. Just when you need to roll around in your rubbers, then
Oh, God.
stick that tube in there, fill it up with air, and see where it takes you.
Never give Dan a rubber product to endorse, dude. That's on you, Steve. That is on you.
Hey, I
Wow.
don't choose these ad reads.
PG-13.
Talk to our marketing department.
I'm sure we'll have a conversation with him after this one. Yeah.
We are probably dropped. And we'll be picked up by a different company for sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's hilarious.
Do we have any comments, Dan?
About?
For the show.
Not this week.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, Luke, you want to open the mailbag then?
Yeah, dude. Let's open it up.
Mail time. Here's the mail. It never. Okay,
Just
sorry.
open it. I thought we were being
I
attacked.
was looking up at the sky, and then
See if it
all of a sudden that
raining.
just blasted my ears.
I'll turn
Oh
the
my
applause down a
gosh.
little bit.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Yeah, our first comment's brought to you by one of our former listeners. Guys, thank you so much for reading my comment. This is what was his name? I forget what his name is. Shoot. Oh, he didn't write his name. He says that you guys are the best podcasters, especially when you do your ad reads. It's really great podcasting. The only thing he wishes we would do more is talk less about fairies, as well as Ben's childhood neighborhood stories. He says that's a big topic on the podcast. I'm not sure why it is, but it does keep coming up. Ben, do you got any stories of your childhood? He's a former listener, so
I
we're
have
good.
endless stories about my childhood.
Let me make it, I guess, clear. Anybody else you paid in your childhood for stories?
I never paid anybody. I got paid.
Oh, you were the recipient.
You never listened to any of my stories.
I did, dude. You paid one dude to put stuff in his ears or
Oh,
nose
you're
or
right.
something.
You're right. Yeah, I did.
Benny Deep Ears.
Denny Deep.
Danny Deep Ears.
Benny Deep Ears. You know, actually, this is a story that doesn't have anything to do with me, but it does have to do with my old neighborhood. My brothers and the kid who lived across the street, they went to like some abandoned house in the park that was like right next to it was actually in our neighborhood off the, I think, western side of our neighborhood. And there was this house in there that they both remember exactly how to get there. And when they were telling my parents about it, my parents were telling them that house does not exist.
Whoa.
And Josh and my other brother CJ, they were like, no, it definitely exists. We can take you there. So they
Ooh.
actually walked the trail back to the house, and the house was not there.
Oh.
And they both remember that story the exact same way, and they are sure that it happened that way. Like you could ask them today, and they would tell you the same story.
How old were they?
12 and 10 maybe.
That's really weird.
Have you guys heard the name Brina before?
Like Sabrina, the Teenage Witch?
Yeah, without the "sa."
No. No.
My daughter's been having this imaginary friend named
No,
Brina.
dude, don't do that.
That she's always like, oh yeah, it's my friend Brina, and which is fine. But in my head, I was like, this. I wonder if, like, you always wonder, maybe it's a ghost. And so then
Or
I
a
was just
demon.
I was just with a bunch of family this week and heard about they're like going through all the family. We were at the cemetery and like going through the family line and whatnot, and somebody mentioned like, oh yeah, there's somebody in our line named Brina that died like 200 years ago.
No.
I wonder.
I've never
That'd
heard
be
that name before.
I've never
Dan.
heard it either. she was the first one that told me, and then I heard it again from
Dude.
I think it was like my dad's cousin or something.
Get a picture of this broad.
She died
well,
200
she's
years
pretty
ago.
dead.
She's pretty dead.
/ maybe invisible.
Take her to the grave and see what happens.
She's already in a grave.
No, your daughter, you psycho. Oh. What's
She was
doing
there.
in the grave?
Did she start talking about the girl after she saw the grave?
Well, actually, she was on the other side of the church.
So you didn't take her to the grave.
Well, she was there, but then she kept
Too
sitting
far away.
on the grave hole, so we had to take her away.
That's freaky. I don't like that.
I don't like that either. Dude,
How are you so chill about that?
I haven't mentioned it to my wife yet, so. I mean, we got a cemetery too in our backyard, and some
And
other
your wife
weird
is a
stories that happens
believer.
every once in a while. So it just adds to the weirdness.
one time
That's creepy.
my kids sleepwalk, which is not cool.
I don't like that.
And
Mine sleeps talks.
my daughter was like 5 and my son was 7. And I hear in the middle of the night, or it's like 11 o'clock, I'm watching TV in my room. And I just hear my alarm's going off somewhere, but I don't know where my phone is. But I'm like, it's bothering me. Sorry, guys. My son says, like, Eliza, what are you doing? Go back to bed. And I hear, you all right?
Just making sure.
Okay. I hear footsteps, and so I get out and go into the hallway. And I'm like, Peter, what's going on? And he's like, Eliza just went downstairs, and the house is pitch black. So I'm freaking out, and I go into Eliza's room and praying that she's not still in her bed because we would have a ghost at that point. She's not there, so she's downstairs somewhere in the pitch black in this house in the middle of the night. So I go downstairs and I'm looking for her. And
You're turning lights on, obviously, as you go down, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I round the corner, and so we have our upstairs, and then I'm in on the main level now, and then there's the basement. And at the top of the basement door, there's a couch, like that old Victorian couch that we have, you know.
Is this at this house? No.
No, this is at the old house.
Okay.
And so I round the corner, and this girl is just sitting on this Victorian couch, staring into darkness down the basement stairs, just staring to the dark. And so I come around the corner and see this, and I freeze, and I say, Eliza. And like any horror movie you've ever seen, she slowly raises her eyes to me and just stares at me. Doesn't move, doesn't say a word, doesn't do anything. So I quickly scoop her up in my arms and book it upstairs as fast as I can. It was one of the scariest nights of my life. I don't know why. I hope she
And you
wasn't communing
still
with
let
anyone.
her in your house?
You hope she wasn't what?
Communing with anything?
Ugh.
Dude, my sister-in-law's dad, this isn't scary, but it would really suck. He sleptwalked. He was, in the middle of the night, he was sleepwalking, opened his second-story window, and fell out and just landed on the driveway and broke, like, all of his bones.
Who is this?
Oh.
My sister-in-law's dad, in his sleep, just woke up, opened the window, and walked out and just shattered.
Dude, that would be my fear of sleepwalking is just how do they not hurt themselves more? Or maybe they do. Like walking into sharp objects.
Well, I think
walking
you still
into
have like some
blunt
kind of
objects.
It's like-
consciousness that your
yeah.
body knows what's around.
Oh, I don't like that even more.
Dude, I used to wake up and have like full conversations with my mom when I was little. And then I would go back to sleep and have
I
no
do
recollection
not
of it.
understand that.
It's like your brain's working, but the memory part of it isn't working or something.
Yeah, I mean, I've had moments. I mean, everybody feel like has had moments when they're like so tired that they're in and out of sleep that like you're somewhat lucid, but you're not.
Can you control your dreams?
I think I used to be able to, but not anymore.
I sometimes can. I used to be better at it.
Wait, you really?
Yeah. You like realize that you're dreaming in your sleep and then you can do whatever you want. Or like even if you're falling, you're like, oh, I'm sleeping. This isn't going to hurt, but I'm still freaking out about it.
Yeah.
I've almost died several times in my sleep, and every time there's like this part that you hit where you're just like, yep, this is happening. And that it almost like prepared me for that day that I was like my motorcycle was sliding under that van, and I had that same feeling. I was like, "Yep, this is happening." And that's when I was like, "See you in a second, Jesus." Like, it's just this acceptance of it. But I've never
happened
died.
to you.
So what?
You never hit a van
The motorcycle hit the van.
in his dream.
No,
Oh. So that was real?
the motorcycle accident.
I thought we were
when I
having
was
the
right
same
behind you. What is happening?
Dude,
Oh, that was a terrible joke. I was trying to make you think it was all a dream.
Stupid.
yeah.
There's a kid in our neighborhood.
Again with the neighborhood. Did I not just read a comment?
To
Yeah.
be fair, his last neighborhood story sparked 20 minutes of talking. So.
That's true.
Um,
Go ahead. Roll with it.
it just piggybacks on what you guys were just talking about. He would sleepwalk real bad, and his mom would just follow him up and down the street.
Do you know that?
Wow.
You know how you're
Just
like
let him sleep.
not
yeah,
supposed to?
You're not supposed to wake him.
Yeah. Do you,
Why, they get
she would just
violent?
walk behind
Why are you
him.
not supposed to wake him?
they say that
I
it's
don't
like
know.
supposed to be. So this is like a thing.
Just
like,
because it's part of their REM sleep and they might be tired?
it could like shock them or
They get
something. You're not
stabby.
supposed to. That's the wisdom of it. But I just found out that is all baloney. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think that someone could get a little stabby.
Dude, what
Like
if
you-
you
like kinda
stabbed
like
somebody in
violent?
your sleep?
What
Like,
if you did?
killed your wife in your sleep?
Oh, gosh.
And then you wake up having no idea what happened?
That's probably happened.
Oh, it does.
I
Yeah.
think that's what happened to OJ.
Allegedly. Rest in peace.
Dude, didn't
All parties.
that's like a big PTSD thing where you're like, you wake up and you've like choked out your wife to death or something.
Oh, yeah. So I know what you're saying when like people, have like freak out moments. That
But
was-
while they're sleeping.
yeah. Well, I don't know if that's so much sleep or if that's just like a delirium type state, you
Yeah,
know?
maybe.
But
Yeah, I don't know.
both would suck if you were the dead one or the live one.
Well,
What's
if you are
the-
the live one, you're in jail for 40 years afterwards for something you didn't even mean to do.
Unless you're
Yeah, it depends on how
Elderly.
much you can buy.
Okay, then life.
could be 10 years.
If you can get a good attorney.
Or if you're sickly, then you might not last that long either.
What's the scariest dream you've ever had? It always sucks to talk about your scary dreams because they're never scary in real life.
Dude, I legit don't dream.
Dude, I don't think I've had a dream
I can't
in a long
remember a
time.
dream that I've had.
Yeah, I haven't had a dream in a long time. Is that bad?
I will tell you something that
I think it
actually
just
happened.
means you're sleeping strongly.
Have you
Really?
ever
About
had the
name-
same dream as another person?
I don't know. I don't talk about my dreams. to other
Shoot,
people.
someone was just telling
Dude,
about this
some-
recently. Was it
there's-
you?
I don't know, but I remember like me, or it wasn't me, it was my sister and her friend used to have like almost the exact same dream a lot. I forget what it was about. But have you had recurring dreams?
Yeah.
Nothing.
I used to
like
have
prominent.
one. It sounds really stupid, but I was thinking about it like 6 months ago and
Kind
feel
of
like,
got steamrolled, Ben. Sorry.
I might kind of realize what it was about, if it was even about anything. But I was a little kid when I had this dream, and I remember I was like in my kitchen under the table, and there's a line of all my like friends and relatives just looped around the table, just standing in line in front of this giant robot guy. And oh, that's not even the weird part. The weird part is he's standing there and he's like, "Step right up if you want to be turned into ketchup and mustard." And so the next person would get in line, jump into his hands, and he like smash them and turn them into ketchup and mustard, and they'd be dead. Like
My
they'd be dead. They'd be transformed into ketchup and mustard. So I'm like,
And they did this willingly.
yeah, they're doing it willingly. So I'm like under the table, and I remember trying to grab my cousins or friends or whoever. Like, guys, don't go up there. Like he's gonna turn you into ketchup and mustard. Like I'm trying to save them all. And then I remember he turned around and he walked up the stairs and left his huge like mallet hammer, and he goes up the stairs. I run over, and when he's coming down, I picked up the mallet and I chucked it up and smashed him on the way down and saved everybody.
Did he become ketchup and mustard?
No, he did not. Dang it. But I remember I had that dream so many times,
That's so weird.
and now thinking about it these days,
It's like
I'm I
evangelism.
wonder, huh?
It's like evangelism.
That I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, what if that was like a picture of me in the future, like trying to
You're a robot.
evangelize to all my friends and everyone to like not just follow.
Not be crushed by the ketchup mustard robot.
Yeah, to like actually save.
How old were you when you
Yeah.
had this dream?
That's pretty cool.
Probably like 6 through 10.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's crazy. You remember that dream from 6 through 10.
Well, I had it so many times.
Really?
It's very vivid.
When I was 6, I had a dream that my brother had this like stuffed monkey. Have I told this story?
Is it creepy?
Was it a sock?
No. So it's not like a sock monkey like everyone has, but it was it literally was like a pattern of a monkey, like a printed picture of this like silly monkey with a banana or whatever, like a cartoon monkey, like
On your stuffed monkey?
sewn
Into it.
So it's kind of like a pillow shaped like a monkey that has the screen printed monkey on it. kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Like it's not a good stuffed animal.
Is it like creepy looking?
It was creepy looking.
Yeah.
And I had a dream that this is like, I think that I had just seen like Pet Cemetery or something, like where there's like a murdering little child that like scurries across the screen or whatever. Maybe Chucky. But
in
this
Pet Cemetery?
that is in Pet Cemetery. Where
Chucky's in Pet
no,
Cemetery?
No. Okay, never mind.
Okay. I've been meaning to watch it.
So this monkey is going around and murdering everyone in my family. I'm like 5 years old.
Gosh.
And I remember hiding in my parents' closet and just seeing this black blur just like skirting all around our house, murdering things. So I woke up and tried to flush his monkey down the toilet. And that was my prophetic 5-year-old dream.
It is
That's,
prophetic.
Yeah, because monkeys. It was Planet of the Apes before Planet of the Apes happened.
Was it like Chris's monkey from Family Guy in your closet just
Dude, yeah, I forgot.
pointing?
No, it was not like that.
Dude, Ben, that's so lame if you don't dream.
I can't remember the last dream I had.
Your sleep must be so boring.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
think I dream like 5 different types of dreams every night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same. One time I was little and I woke up and this is when we lived in the trailer park and the house was like ground level and we looked over my window. My bed was like against my window and so I looked out my window and there's like a daggone T-Rex head, Jurassic Park style, just staring at me with the eye shrink and everything.
Nice.
It was one of the scariest. Oh my gosh, it freaked me out so much. It stuck with me.
Those trailer T-Rexes.
Luke has to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can all call it a wrap. We were at about an hour, right?
You think so?
Probs.
Okay,
So
well.
we're probably right at an hour.
There was a girl who lived down the street from us.
Oh, yeah, you're trying to get into this. Sorry.
And that's guys, thank you so much for joining us.
This is a lighter note to end this on. She was a little bit heftier.
Could
And
an average
she got
size rowboat.
stuck in the mud next to our pond, and it was hilarious. So,
Did she make it?
she made it. We had to get a few men.
Did she take that? Did she take that as like a pivotal moment in her life and become really skinny?
I don't know. She moved to Texas, so doubtful.
I remember driving
Everything
down
is bigger there.
Yeah, dude.
in your backyard one time. It was pouring rain and got my car stuck over your bridge
Yeah.
to go play volleyball.
Yeah.
And then I had to make the walk of shame back up to your dad and have him pull me out with the tractor.
Yeah, nice.
Dang it.
Dude, yeah. So, yeah. No, this was still at the other house, the Fairfax house. So this is before we moved out here. We had a pond in our backyard there too. It's actually a pretty sick place.
We'll have to pod from there sometime.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I hear an accordion.
Uh,
Someone give that man a microphone.
it's
You got it's trapped. That's why. There you go.
Oh,
there
it's
you go.
awful.
Could you not tell it wasn't making any difference?
It's okay. We'll cut that out.
I could. I was like, man, I really forgot how to play this thing.
Editor, if you could just cut that out, thank you.
Sounds so romantic.
That was like
You're a
John
Renaissance
Williams
man.
meets like fish.
Steven
Well,
Spielberg.
I appreciate no one held the mic to my accordion, Dan. So no one
was-
heard that.
I was holding my mic and I was trying to make it far away so that we couldn't hear it as well.
I think that's exactly his complaint.
Dude, that thing's so loud. Everyone in the neighborhood is probably like, why are these guys out in the driveway
It's
every
a polka party.
whatever tonight is? Wednesday
Pol-
night?
Polka party.
They'll find out tomorrow
right, guys,
when
well-
the pod comes out.
Like and subscribe. Leave us a message. Tell us topics that you'd like not to know what our opinions are on it. you know?
Apparently, my childhood.
Sponsors that we miss, we'll get to you next week.
If you want to see what we look like, send us cameras.
Peace out. I really hope to pick that up because that was awesome.